Minecraft. It's got multiple versions. You know them all. Minecraft Java Edition, Minecraft Bedrock Edition, the Legacy console. You know, it's got all your favorite consoles. But what about Minecraft on the PlayStation 1? That sounds insane, right? Meet Minecraft PlayStation Edition. It's not new. It was made in 1998 by Mojang. Alright. Clearly not. It's actually a mod pack released for Java Edition not too long ago. It's a survival horror experience created by xKazIsKoolx on the CurseForge site. Now, I'm not going to go into analysis about the whole pack. It's been covered to death by YouTubers all across the site. I'm not here for that. I don't want to discuss why it feels so liminal, or what makes it so scary, or anything. But I want to cover this game. It's too spooky not to. How do I... Oh. I know what to talk about. Yeah. That'll do. Minecraft PSX's CurseForge page has a certain blurb that caught my attention. Imagine this is like an ARG. Like an ARG? Like an ARG? No, Kaz. I know what you're doing. This isn't like an ARG. It is an ARG. My evidence? memcard2.mcr. This is a folder lodged into the mod pack upon being downloaded, hidden in the files. Well, it's not hidden at all, actually. But you'll never find it in-game, that much is for sure. In this folder are 11 worlds, each dated, and a single screenshot. The lore is everywhere. I'm sure I'd find stuff just playing the game on my own world. But who has the time? Kidding, of course I have time. Hell, you're watching me play it in the background right now. But memcard2, which I'll be calling memory card 2 or memory slot 2, has a bit more stuff to go off of right off the bat. It's an easier entry point, at least for me. I'm going to explore these 11 worlds in this video, and I'll try to piece together the lore of Minecraft PSX. Well, we have to figure something out first. Back up. Where does the memory card 2 come from? We have a bit of lore on the CurseForge page about how one gets this game in the first place. It's written in second person, detailing the story about how somebody, you, snatched the game from a garage sale, where the fact that it supposedly came from the past, an impossibility, also confuses us. But nowhere in this blurb is there mention of a memory card? In fact, nowhere on the page is it mentioned. At all. The CurseForge page links a bunch of videos, some of which I have found to explore the worlds, but I don't think any of them are official. Well, except for possibly the one trailer and the tutorial about messed up UI posted by Kaz themselves. Unfortunately, neither of them are any help for the lore. The trailer just shows pretty normal gameplay of the mod pack, no strange anomalies, and the tutorial is just a technical thing, pretty obviously not canon. It's hard to say if anything even is canon. There is a story, I'm sure of it, but what is and what isn't part of it? While researching stuff found in this video, I was able to get confirmation from Kaz about what is canon. On the Discord server for the pack, Kaz stated that only stuff that you actually find in the game is 100% official. Really, this only helps a little bit. After all, it doesn't say that stuff outside the game isn't official, it's just not 100% official. After a little more digging, I found that an old case existed. When it was changed, the old case was made non-canon in a retcon. Now, the relevant detail is the old case featured garbled text, which I believe was written in the Galactic alphabet. I can't find the case anymore, but even if I did, it's not important. What is important is that this text is removed and changed to plain English in the retcon. However, the CurseForge page of story mentions this garbled text, meaning that story I mentioned earlier, no longer canon either. And this leaves us back at square one. We don't know where the memory card comes from, nor do we know how we got the game. Through my analysis, I'll see if I can answer either of these questions too. So, now that that's out of the way, let me explain the way I'll be structuring this exploration. I'm going to be exploring all 11 worlds in one session, which I'll name Expedition 1. To make things clear, each world's first look will be referred to as Expedition 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and so on. Then, after playing all 11 worlds, I will get to analyzing and presenting my findings in this video. I will be presenting the lore in each world one by one. First, Expedition 1, and then the analysis. Just to avoid confusion, this is a comparison between the recording and the writing order and the presenting order for the first two worlds. So, for recording, first I will record Expedition 1.1 and 1.2, one right after another. Then I will analyze World 1. Once that's done, I will analyze World 2. However, my presentation will follow this structure instead. Highlights of Expedition 1.1, analysis of that world, then highlights of Expedition 1.2, and analysis of World 2. I want to make this crystal clear to explain any discrepancies with my statements between analysis and Expedition 1. When I do Expedition 1.2, I will not have done the analysis of World 1, although you as a viewer will already have seen it. Therefore, take absolutely everything I say in Expedition 1 footage with a grain of salt. While most of what I say will probably end up in the analysis, I may have already been disproven. Additionally, nothing I say is confirmed to be the truth. This entire video is just my interpretation of what I've seen. I'm avoiding any outside sources, trying only to find what Kaz has said is canon or not. So, let's begin with the analysis of mem2.mcr. Before we start playing Expedition 1.1, let's ask ourselves what the world names even mean. Looking at the worlds, it's clear it's a date, and the date format is year, month, date. So we can translate these dates to words. This one here is September 26, 1977. Obviously, this can't be the creation date of the world, because Minecraft PSX came out in the 1990s, more than 10 years after the date listed on the world. So, what gives? What is this world from then? According to the default last open time, this world was last opened on May 16th, 1999 at 2 p.m. 2:15 p.m. to be exact. In fact, all of them were, which is a bit odd. They were all last opened in the same minute? Considering it takes about a minute to switch worlds, I don't think it's feasible. So, I'm going to disregard the time, at least for now. I'll keep the date in mind, though. I think it's likely May 16th is the actual creation date of these worlds. Now, with that out of the way, what does the date actually mean? I think the date is significant to our builder. Perhaps the world is built to resemble a certain day. That's the best interpretation of what we have. Now, let's begin for real. Alright, so this is Expedition 1 into all of these unknown worlds. I'm here with Lucine the Bee.
Hello.
She's my emotional support human.
I'm your girlfriend.
Yes, you're my girlfriend, and also emotional support for right now, because I am terrified of this game.
And I don't take things seriously at all.
No, she really doesn't. So it puts me at ease. Okay. Alright.
Yeah, they had cars back then?
It's the 1900s. Yes, they had cars.
I'm telling you, don't take this seriously at all.
Okay, so I'm in adventure mode. I noticed that from the title screen.
This looks like Ultra Kill a little bit.
Does it?
Like that one. I forgot which one it was.
Oh gosh. Uh-oh. Oh no, I messed it up. Oh no. Okay, so there's a kitchen. Oh, it's a barrel. Okay. What's the sanity mechanic requirements? Like, yeah, but like, how does it low? How does it get lower?
Oh, certain things, like being around certain things will decrease your sanity. Eating certain things will decrease your sanity. Meanwhile, to gain sanity, you can do things like the flower hat. I haven't played for a long time, so I think the flower hat increases sanity.
Yeah. Does not eating decrease your sanity?
No, you can starve and still be like, this is fine.
Okay, alright. I'm mostly questioning what are these weird items in here, like heavy pressure plates?
Oh shit, who stripped in here?
Oh no.
The
A
drugs.
nausea potion. Uh-oh. Music disc. Which one? Whoa. Okay, what do we got? We got a glow stick, golden horse armor, leather horse armor, concrete, nautilus shell, amethyst. Okay, so there are shoes at the feet of the bed. Oh, there's clothes here. Okay, wait. There's a set of clothes that have been taken out. And then here too. Okay, so these are the clothes that belong to whoever's in the bath. Okay, so already looking at this, this looks like a parent's. This is a parent's bedroom. So this is either like the mother or the father in here, and then this must be the child's bedroom. This nausea potion, I believe.
Could it be the soap?
I think it represents alcohol.
Ooh.
Or like wine, right? Because people drink wine in bathtubs sometimes. Okay, so this is the garage. Oh, there's a nice little barbecue out.
They have a barbecue!
Yeah, I was hoping to avoid this, but I guess it's time to descend into the basement.
Yippee! The best part of the house. Hey, this looks like a good room.
Okay. I have no idea what this is. Combat, Video Olympics, Street Racer, Starship, Blackjack, Indy 500. These are video games. This is a video game system. It's hooked up to a TV. They're playing games. And regular gameplay. Okay. This is a little weird. Okay, so this is again. There's a lot of weird.
I'm wondering if the concrete is supposed to represent colored blocks that children play with.
It's a shield. A shield, bell. This very much looks like a game room. What disc is this? It gotta be close.
Hey, that's the Steve fit.
Oh shoot, you're right. Is this Steve's bedroom?
Steve had parents?
Maybe? Lots of concrete.
I know it's not good to take things too literally, but I just like to imagine the parents just gave them a severed Ender Dragon head. Here, go play, son.
I mean, hey, your guess is as good as mine, honestly. Hey, what's in this room? It's the furnace.
I think that's a laundry room. And you broke their basket!
Yeah.
How dare you?
Oops. Okay.
Yeah, this must be the boiler.
Yeah. So, right. So, Steve, that can't be a coincidence. It can't be It can't be a coincidence that this is exactly like Steve's armor.
Do you think you can put on the fit?
Sure. And what's odd is that there's one missing, right? There's presumably there's 5 days worth of stuff, right? One of them is missing. Somebody's drinking alcohol. And I don't want to be sexist, but based on the color scheme, I think it might be the mother. Like, I don't want to be sexist, but like this looks like a girl's room, especially back in 1998.
I mean, yeah, I see it. Can you look into toys?
In here? Oh,
yeah,
the horse!
Flowers.
The horse maybe it represents ponies. Okay, let's go check out the next world. Alright, now for analysis. World 1 is a building of a family's home. We can see their kitchen, full of foods, pressure plates to designate plates, bowls, bottles, and flower pots to designate cups. In the right wing, we find a child's bedroom. Based on the colors and the time frame of 1977, I assume this is a girl. In the chest, we find horse armor to represent ponies, flowers, and terracottas to represent blocks, such as Lego, perhaps. We also find some clothes. In another room, we find the parents' bedroom. There are 2 distinct sets of clothes, a computer, a TV, and a double bed. In the third and final room is the bathroom, where a set of clothes belonging to a parent lies on the floor. The bathtub is full, and we find a nausea potion on the bathtub. Due to the coloring of the clothes, I believe these belong to the mother. I believe the nausea potion indicates alcohol. People sometimes drink wine while having a relaxing bath. I would not be surprised if this is the case. I will continue to refer to these potions as alcohol. In the garage, we find what I presume are boxes in the corner, cobwebs around, and buttons to represent bugs. There's also a workbench with redstone contraptions, and a door to the backyard, which contains a single barbecue grill. In the basement, we see some cookies laid out on plates and a video game console. According to the game cartridges in the entertainment stand, all launch titles for this specific console, this is an Atari 2600, which was released just 15 days prior in the real world. In the basement, we also find a laundry room and another child's bedroom. This bedroom is much messier than the ones upstairs, toys everywhere. In the drawer, we find clothes matching the outfit of our default player skin, Steve. We'll call this child Steve. The rest of the world is super flat and has nothing else to offer. So far, there isn't much to analyze. This seems like a happy family of 4 living their lives. We'll have to take a look at each world and see the differences that stack upon each other. And trust me, they stack. Before we play Expedition 1.2, I have another detail to add. All of these worlds are in peaceful mode. It's something I noticed relatively early on, but not immediately, hence why you can see me taking food. A side effect is that none of the horrors spawn. No Herobrine, no creatures, nothing. I almost wonder if that was done on purpose, to show these memories without any distractions. Or maybe there aren't any monsters because these memories come from a time before Minecraft PSX had monsters. That's just a theory so far. June 1st, 1979. So this is 2 years later, I presume. Because I think these might be the date. These might represent a date. Like, maybe. Because that was like a family's house. So maybe that was what that family was like in 77? Maybe?
Can't wait to see their descent into chaos.
Yeah, so this is the same.
It must be someone's birthday.
Oh. Yeah, look, there are a bunch of balloons. Okay, so June 1st. Yeah, it's a birthday, look. It's a cake. Okay, nice prediction there.
Must be a baby boy. Unless someone really likes blue.
Oh, you know what? Maybe it is a gender reveal party as well. That could be it. Okay, I don't really need the food.
Next prediction, the gender reveal goes wrong. The house is exploded.
Oh, God. I don't know. We'll see. Let's take a look at these. Okay, so things have changed, but only in their layout, implying that the items have been used, but things haven't changed too much in the last 2 years. So, either this is a gender reveal party or it's Steve's birthday.
I think it's a birthday because the candle on the cake.
Yeah, candle on the cake. I mean, I say Steve, I don't really know who it is. But we're gonna call him Steve because he got the Steve drip. See, look, the dad's still around. Because he's changed his outfit. Oh, the mom hasn't, though. Or, has she? No. Yeah, see,
the bathroom's cleaned up.
The bathroom's clean. So that definitely wasn't soap. That was definitely alcohol. Okay, let's go take a look at what the...
It's a cockroach! The roaches! They're cockroaches! Yay!
I think you're right. They're everywhere. Now that I think about it, they were everywhere in the last build too. I just didn't say anything. Okay, so cockroaches. See, there are a bunch of. They're all down here too. Okay. Wait, so what was the game that was missing last time? Combat, Air Sea Battle, Video Olympics, Street. Was it Street Racer? Or was it Air Sea? I think it was Air Sea Battle or Street Racer. That's what they were playing last time. Oh shoot, it was a gender reveal party. Look.
Oh,
there's a crib.
a baby.
Oh, and look, Steve's cleaned up his toys. It's all the same items, but they're just all in the chest now. Oh. Baby clothes.
It is a baby.
Okay, so... baby... Maybe it's the baby's birthday? Instead of a gender reveal party? Okay, so there was a baby boy. Must be the baby's birthday. Or, wait, were there any missing outfits in the... There were. Okay. So it's not a gender reveal party, it is a birthday, but it's the baby's birthday. Okay. So... Alright, so that was 1979. I think these are representing dates. Like, specific days. These are like snapshots of their time. The world is the same house, but things have changed. The main differences are, it's a birthday. Other than that, things are pretty much the same. Rooms have been cleaned up, such as the basement bedroom and the bathroom. There's a bug right outside the door to the garage. The other major change is the addition of a crib in the basement bedroom. The blue onesies in the drawer indicate the birthday was celebrating the birthday of a baby just born to the family. At this stage, it's hard to tell how old the kid is. Either this is their day of birth, or they were born a year ago. Maybe we'll find out later. There isn't much else to analyze here, so we'll move on. So 4 years later, it's nighttime now. Oh, it's snowy. Must be Christmas.
They have their lights out.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. They got their little stockings. Yeah, okay, so it's Christmas time. Oh, uh-oh. Oh, look, there's art on the fridge.
Must be the kids' drawings or something.
Yeah.
Or just photos. They do that. Hold on.
Okay.
Go back to the plates.
There's one missing.
Yeah, one of them's missing.
I noticed there was a... Yeah. There's a cup missing here, too. The cup must be for this? Maybe? Oh, uh-oh. Empty glass bottle. Clothes on the floor. Baths out. Oh, look, the kid in here is
that's
actually...
where the plate went.
Yeah. Oh, it's a plate of cookies. Oh, that's what we saw in the basement last time. There was a bunch of cookie plates. Again, it looks like the items are consistent. They're just shifting around in place.
I need to go, so your views are gonna plummet because the girlfriend's gone.
Oh, no. Oh, don't leave me.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I might come back later.
Okay.
See ya.
Alright. Bye-bye. And she never came back. Cockroaches have moved. Or whatever these are. Oh, everyone's heading downstairs, okay. Oh, look, they got a little Christmas tree down here. Aw. Oh, they got more games. Wait, hold on. Starship, Spy Hunter, Indy 500, Star Wars, Air Sea Battle, X-Men, Pole Position, Air Raid, Pitfall, Street Racer, Donkey Kong, Video Olympics, Blackjack, and Combat. Okay, so this is probably an Atari. Shears? Shears probably represents, like, scissors. Oh, okay. Little Steve. Steve got a computer. He's also got all of his stuff here. The baby's grown up a little. Wait. No, wait. That outfit. That outfit. This outfit drawings. I recognize these colors. Where do I recognize these colors? They're familiar. They belong to somebody. Who? I don't remember. So the little kid's playing. This kid's like at least 5, I think. Probably older. Oh, all right. Those colors. Where do I recognize those colors? Okay, I'm gonna have to do some research in the analysis. In the third world, we see that it's Christmas time, which lines up with the date of the world. This confirms the theory that these are recreated memories made by our builder. The world itself has evolved a little bit. The house is decorated for Christmas, with a tree in the basement, lights outside, stockings, etc. Mother seems to have just finished her bath, an empty alcohol bottle sitting on the tub. Everything else seems normal. The bug is crawling down the stairs to the basement. Speaking of, the basement bedroom has a few toys left out by our youngest child. When we look into the drawer, we find brown clothes, gray pants, and black shoes at the foot of the bed. This outfit, it's familiar. Somebody well known in the Minecraft community has worn this before. Notch. Here's where the real theory starts. These worlds, I believe, are Notch and Steve's childhoods. Probably Steve specifically, due to World 1 being before Notch's birth. Actually, doing a quick Google search, and we find that Notch was born on June 1st, 1979. The date of World 2. The theory only evolves from here. Okay, 3 years later. So, I think by now it's pretty clear that these are different points in this family's life. The chair's changed. The table changed. They upgraded? Cookies missing. Some food's gone. Oh, you know what? Oh no, they're cooking. Okay. Maybe mom's making food. Those must be the plates. If I look, there's probably 4 missing plates somewhere? No, there's 1 missing plate. That's where it is. Carrot, slice of cake. Missing cup. Bathroom's all clean. Wait, what the? Oh no. Alcohol. Oh no. A lot of alcohol. All black? Okay. Flowers are wither roses. Somebody's emo phase? Living in all black? Beds here were they always black? Did I never think to check these? Oh, enchanting amethyst shot. Paling multi-shot and silk. Those are weird. Bed still. Looks like the bugs are gone too. Oh look, they're cooking. Oh, scratch that. The bugs aren't all gone. Kids have grown up. Steve here is working on his computer. Cookie here. The other kid got a computer too. So it looks like somebody's going through a phase. It looks to be who I presume is the eldest child here. Seems to be going through a phase. They're drinking alcohol, their song changed, and their clothes are all black. As well as like everything else around them is all black. Oh crap, I messed it up again. Like, I don't know, is it an emo phase? Is it depression? The alcohol makes me think it might be depression. In this snapshot, the parents are cooking a meal. A baked potatoes in the kitchen, and beef is cooking on the grill. In the parents' bedroom, we find that the mother has added a few items to her nightstand. A bottle of enchanting, an amethyst shard, and a blaze rod. I can't think of what they represent. Maybe drugs? Amethyst is a crystal and blaze rod is long, so maybe it's crystal meth in a straw? I don't know what the enchanting bottle could mean. Meanwhile, the father has 3 enchanted books: Impaling, Multi-Shot, and Silk Touch. I don't yet understand the purpose of these 6 items. They have a symbolic meaning, but I don't know what. We see the start of an addiction form, as there's an empty glass bottle at the foot of the mother's side of the bed. The bug is close to the bottom of the stairs as well. Steve and Notch have grown a little, both having computers in their shared bedrooms, and the toys have been put away for the most part. The biggest change, however, is the daughter. Her bedroom has changed almost entirely. The bed has changed to black, and her outfit is also entirely black. We find 3 full bottles of alcohol and 1 empty glass bottle too. Clearly, the daughter is having some problems, either having fallen into the wrong crowd or something like that. All else, though, seems relatively alright. Oh, right, this is like 2 months later. Okay, 2 months later, something's gonna have gone down. Okay, this is stayed. Oh. Meant to represent empty bookshelves, I guess? There's a lot less food in the cupboard. A lot less plates. A lot less bowls. Oh yeah, because the dishes are like piling up on the counter. Not again. Oh, this is a mess. The books are gone. Items are still here. Now there's more alcohol. Oh, this is set. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, I just realized the computer's gone too. Okay, so Dad's gone. There is... Oh, that's... Smoke... Oh, no, it's weed! Oh, they're doing... Oh, that's... Oh, it's weed. Lighters. Spruce leaves. Paper... Yeah, okay. Oh, this is sad. Okay, so whoever lives here now is doing weed. Oh yeah, you can see it. Okay, so Dad's gone. Dead or left, I don't know. I think Dad left. Yeah, I think Dad left. I don't think Dad's dead. This bug has been constantly moving closer. Oh. Okay. Water bottle, bread. Creeper head. Legend of Zelda, Excite Bike, Mario, Metroid, Kung Fu. They've upgraded to an NES now, which I think is time appropriate. So they must be playing it right now. And clothes everywhere. Whoever was doing the laundry has been doing a little poorly. Again, these clothes, I recognize them, but from where? These are just water bottles. It's not alcohol. This is getting depressing. It's not even spooky, this is just depressing. Remember how I said all else seems relatively alright? Yeah, things changed fast in 2 months. Checking in on the daughter again, we see she's been smoking marijuana, or weed. Based on the missing durability of the flint and steels, which represent lighters, this has been a habit for a bit. Meanwhile, we find that in the parents' bedroom, there's something sad there too. The room is a mess. The mother's clothes are unorganized and messy in the drawer, and the father's clothes are gone entirely. The computer that was in that room is also gone. In the garage, we find that the workbench is empty and the barbecue grill is gone. In the kitchen, we see the dishes have piled up, and groceries are being kept up. In the basement, the bug has moved to the bottom of the stairs, and Steve and Notch have upgraded to an NES. Dirty clothes are piling up in the laundry room. The point of this world is clear. Our builder wants to show how the father left, how the mother has started drinking, and how the sister is rebelling. Alright, 1995. So this is a huge jump. This is 9 years later. Yellow dye. What's yellow dye? Food. Okay, so it's less of a mess around here. They've been doing the shopping. They got a fancy new microwave. Oh, there's some missing bottles, but I mean, there's... Oh, they got a new fridge. Stainless steel, I think. Okay. Maybe things turned around. Oh, no. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean anything bad. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, so Mom's still an alcoholic. Alright, Mom's still got a few issues, I think. Elder kid left. Let's see. Well, that bug that kept crawling is gone. Keep an eye out for him. Wipeout, Twisted Metal, Ridge Eraser, Rayman. This looks like a PlayStation. Oh, they have their old NES still here. Hey, I found you. There's the little bug. Whoa. His room got a bit of an upgrade. Oh, he's grown up. He doesn't have toys anymore. Has grown up a little. He's outgrown the toys. Okay. Alright, so Dad's gone. Eldest kid, who I presume is the sister, is gone. The next world features the largest time jump to date, a whole 9 years later. The father is still gone. We see that the mother seems to have gotten over the father leaving, for the most part. She still has alcohol around, but things seem to have calmed down. Dishes, the laundry, and the groceries have been kept up with. However, the sister has left. Her bedroom is empty, and down in the basement, the bug is moved on top of a shelf. Meanwhile, Steve and Notch have upgraded to a PlayStation 1, based on the games in the drawer. The NES is in the other drawer as well. Notch has matured a lot more. His toy is no longer in the bedroom at all. The biggest two changes, though, are the sister leaving and the PlayStation 1 upgrade. These details are relevant. Alright, let's see. A year later, 1996. I still don't understand what the point of the freaking yellow stuff was. Okay, the bottles aren't a good sign. This room's still empty. There's a lot of bottles. There's more alcohol. Okay, so Mom's still around. Alright, so things still seem okay, despite the signs of possibly still alcohol and stuff. Alright, let's see if we can find the bug. Okay, game console's still here. Oh, they got new games. WWF WrestleMania, Ridge Racer, Gex! Hell yeah. Oh, were they playing Gex last time? Aw, we love Gex. I don't know, but we love Gex. Oh, there's the bug. It wasn't hard to find this time. Dead plant? Looks like Steve has been, what's Steve doing on the computer? Oh, there's Bedrock here too. What, the computer's freaking blue screen? Not a whole lot changed. Again, this bug, like, is it just an Easter egg, or is it symbolic of something? Okay. This world comes from a year later. There are only very minor tweaks. The mother seems to be drinking more alcohol, and the boys have gotten a few extra games for their PS1. Meanwhile, the bug is right outside the basement bedroom. Additionally, both computers show a bedrock block on the screen. The big detail here is this bedrock block. I believe both brothers are working on something together here. I have two theories. The first is that they're playing a PC game together. Games such as Quake or Doom were around at the time. And the other option is that they're coding. Minecraft PSX is going to release in 2 or 3 years, meaning development must surely have begun by now. Bedrock texture might be representative of lines of text, which could be code on a dark background, likely the dark theme of their chosen IDE. It's a bit of a long shot right now, but it seems like a significant detail. After all, barely anything else has changed. But let's move on and see if our hypothesis is correct. Alright, next, just over a year later, July 7th, 1997. Alright, so back at the house, another bottle on the floor. Oh, more bottles on the floor, that's not good. At least the food seems to be kept up. Yeah, I mean... Oh, that's still empty. Still a lot of bottles here. I think that changed. I think things have changed, but... Like, the only noticeable difference, at least upstairs, is there are more bottles of alcohol. See, even down here, they changed the game they were playing. I don't see the bug this time. It was right here last time, I think. Oh, Steve's been working away at his little computer here. Oh, it's not Bedrock anymore, it's Deep Slate. Okay. Oh, there's a bug. Steve's wearing a little mismatch. I know who this is. I know why I reckon that's Notch. That's Notch's clothes. I think? In this world, the upstairs has barely changed. The only significant change is the addition of more empty bottles. In the basement, we see an extra chair in the bedroom, some messy papers on Steve's desk, and the bedrock block has changed to Deep Slate. I'm not sure the significance of this change, but it's on both computers, implying the brothers are still working together. The bug has also moved to a single block away from Notch's computer. I have a theory regarding this bug placement, hence why I've been mentioning where it's going this the whole time. But this is just foreshadowing for the time being. Alright, next world. Again, it's the house. It's always going to be the house. Oh god, there's even more bottles. Is that going to be the trend? Every time I open the world, there's going to be more and more bottles of alcohol. Till mom dies of alcohol poisoning or something. Everything seems nice and clean here. I'm going to check this every time. Because if I don't, there's a missing plate there. Okay, look for the missing plate somewhere. Or is it just that? Okay, they changed the game. Oh, it seems they're pretty regular gamers. I don't know which one's playing, but... it was red before, wasn't it? Oh, gosh, Steve, are you okay? Notch still doing alright there. Can't believe I didn't recognize Notch. I don't think Steve's doing so good. He's leaving a lot of stuff in his computer. I can't find the goddamn bug. Okay. Sure. Opening up the next world, we find more and more bottles piled up around the house. In the basement, the blocks on the computers have changed to stone. At this point, I think the block getting lighter each year represents the game development status, getting closer and closer to release. Steve, on the other hand, has been getting messier. The sheets on his bed have been thrown onto the floor, and the clothes in his drawer are all disorganized. It's like he doesn't have time for cleanliness anymore as he keeps developing the game. The bug is also nowhere to be found in this world. Speaking of the bug, I cut out a small part of Expedition 1.8 and 1.9. Let's play them now. Oh, there's a bug. Wait. No. No, it can't be that literal, can it? The bug goes to the computer? Computer bug? Could that be the story behind the weird shenanigans that happened with this mod pack? That's a wild guess, though. That is wild. You don't think that this... Is this brother the developer? Wait. I know who this is. I know why I that's Notch! That's Notch's clothes! I think? The bug went into computer bug game Minecraft PlayStation 1 edition. That statement made no sense. But wait. No, that's wild. There's no way that's it, right? The bug goes in the computer, causing weird stuff to happen in PlayStation 1 edition Minecraft. Because Notch is developing Minecraft. This is 1997, which was a year before this version supposedly released. No. That can't be it. That can't be it. No, that's silly. Is it? Okay. Now I gotta confirm. Is the bug somewhere in this room? Or has it actually vanished? If the bug actually vanished, I don't see it. I can't find the goddamn bug. Is it in the bathroom? On the seal? I didn't check the ceiling in the other room. It's gone. I can't find it anymore. No. No. It's actually not there. I don't believe it. That's way too conspiracy, even for me. It's not here. It's not even just like hidden somewhere. Like I actually just can't find it. Nothing hidden. No. No. There's no way. Okay. That's right. I'm going full conspiracy mode here. I think that this bug is symbolic. This bug has been slowly moving for 19 years. Bugs don't typically live this long. Unless this is one of those rare exceptions, I believe this isn't a real insect. Now, the bug is at the computer 1 year, and then vanishes entirely the next. Why? How? Now, as you might have heard in my almost incoherent ramblings during Expedition 1, I think there's a bug in the game. This bug may be the cause of the horrors and nightmares included in Minecraft PSX. Or at least something. It's too significant a detail not to consider. For 7 worlds, we see this bug move closer and closer to Notch's computer before it just unceremoniously vanishes without a trace. It's gotta mean something. But what? We won't know unless we continue exploring the next worlds. let's move on. Alright, 7 months later. I don't like whenever there's like a update in the same year. Last time that happened, like, the dad left, this, like, who I presume to be the sister, started doing drugs. Alright, let's see. Still a lot of bottles. There's a plate missing. Is the missing plate just this? Might be. Oh god, there's more and more bottles piling up in the bathroom. I was right. It's just gonna be more and more bottles until, like, your mom's dead. Oh, still nothing in there. Okay, again, they've swapped out the GAN, but nothing else has changed. Okay, so far the only change has been extra bottles. Oh no. Oh no. Extra bottles, and Steve has. Oh, Steve is. Oh no, Steve's not doing so good. Not just turned off his computer. He's not using it right now. All the books are on the ground. None of these have names, do they? No. I don't. Okay, so shit's going down with Steve, I guess. The mother's alcoholism is getting worse. More bottles. In the basement, Steve's condition is also getting worse. Now, books have fallen off his bookshelf, a painting is missing, and his clothes are even more jumbled. The computer on Steve's side now shows a dirt block. Notch's computer is off. And the bug is once again nowhere to be found. I think that the dirt block is showing once again the progress of the game. But instead of just getting lighter, it's changed completely. Let's consider the order of these blocks. Bedrock, deep slate, stone, dirt. Now, how is a Minecraft world layered? From the bottom, it goes bedrock, deep slate, stone, dirt, and grass. Obviously, if you're in a desert biome or something like that, it's not dirt and grass, it's just sand, but let's ignore that for now. And hold on, what about the Minecraft logo? It's a grass block as well. The block's progressing mirrors the building of Minecraft worlds, from the bottom to the top. Unfortunately, there's nothing else to discuss here. So, on to the next and final world. The last world, 1999. So, like, I think almost a year later, this is the last world. I'm worried. I'm just gonna say it, I'm worried. I don't know what I'm gonna find in here. But, oh god, yeah, more bottles. They're just piling up everywhere. Everything else seems to be pretty clean, but I mean, judging on, like, the... Oh no, I spoke too soon. Oh no, I very much spoke too soon. I mean, we'll see. Maybe we'll find them, like, arranged at a dinner table downstairs. No. I mean... Oh, jeez. Oh, no, not her too. Mom's not doing so good. Oh, I don't like the basement. It's not lit up. Oh, no, I don't like this. Minecraft. Oh, Minecraft PlayStation 1 edition. Because these are all PlayStation games. But now the game is the screen is showing Minecraft. Notch released Minecraft PlayStation 1 edition. Oh no. Soul Sound? Another painting's off the wall. Oh, all of Steve's clothes are just... Yeah. I mean, clearly, something not good has happened here. Except, the only good thing is, Notch seems to have released his game. Notch seems to have released Minecraft PlayStation 1 edition. Which is what we're playing. Oh, that adds... That's way... Oh, that's actually... That actually makes a very interesting point. If Minecraft PlayStation 1 edition is already released, then how did... Okay, so the memory card was clearly released after. So, like, this wasn't just something included with the game at launch. Was it? I don't know. Okay. So that's all of the that's all of Expedition 1, I guess. Right. Well, let's do some analysis, I guess. Oh, that's so weird. Now, for the final world. Stuff has hit the fan. The alcoholism from the mother is getting really bad. All her clothes are now all messy in her drawer. And dishes start piling up again. The basement is dark. Upon entering, we find the PlayStation is on. All of their games are placed in the drawer, and the TV screen shows a grass block. A finished build of Minecraft PSX. In the bedroom, we see Steve has entirely lost it. His clothes are on the ground, another painting is missing, and the floor beneath his desk is turned to soul sand. I think the soul sand has both a metaphorical meaning and a literal one. Literally, I think it's just to show how Steve has stopped caring about the mess and has let it accumulate. Actual dirt on the ground. Metaphorically, though, I believe it shows how Steve's soul is being drained, his energy all spent at the computer, working on the game. Despite the messes, we know Steve is likely still alive. While there may be clothes scattered everywhere, there are only 4 pairs of clothes. The 5th is presumably still being worn. But, then again, he may also be wearing the 5th pair while being dead. Wait, why am I talking about death? Well, the reason is... The world dated May 16th of 1999 may have been the final world, but it's not the last thing to be featured on the memory card. There's also a single screenshot. It's sad. There's nothing creepy, there's nothing hidden. I tried brightening the image in post to see if I could find anything hidden in the darkness, but no dice. At first, when seeing this, I thought the screenshot was meant to be corrupt or something. After all, the world icons by default say they're corrupted worlds, a fact that I don't really know how to explain either. But after playing through these worlds, I think a more likely scenario is that the person taking the screenshot is dead. Notice the empty health and food bar. Right next to it, in the offhand slot, is a pair of shears, which I believe represents scissors. Now, who's dead? Is it someone in Notch's family? After all, we do see the shears consistently in their basement, and 2 of the 3 remaining family members seem to not be doing so great mentally just a day ago. Yeah, someone in this family is dead. And I think it's Steve. Or is his name Steve? I'm sure everybody has been yelling at me about calling him Steve the entire video. Trust me, I know. Herobrine is an old Minecraft legend and creepypasta. I won't be getting into the specifics today, but one detail I do want to bring up is the common knowledge that Herobrine is Notch's dead brother. Or at least in Herobrine lore. Herobrine is already known to be in this pack. He shows up on the title screen as well as in-game, and everybody knows he wears the same clothes as Steve. That means it's pretty likely that Herobrine is the one who built these worlds too. Why else would the final screenshot, presumably from the builder of the worlds, be in first person? The final detail I want to speculate upon is the cause of death. In the screenshot alone, we see two possible causes of death. The first is the empty food bar. Did Herobrine stop caring about feeding himself, leading to starvation? The second possible cause is a pair of scissors. The scissors could very much have been used to take Herobrine's life. Either one could be the case, and I don't have enough evidence to prove it one way or another. The cause of death might not even matter for all I know. A death is a death, after all. Maybe we'll find more evidence later. For now, let's summarize and close off this chapter of the lore. Here's the story I think these worlds are trying to tell. This is Herobrine's entire life story. Different worlds are different stages of his life. World 1 is his childhood before Notch was born, and from there we see Notch's birth, his father leaving, his sister leaving, his descent into obsession, and finally his death. The latter half of these worlds show Herobrine obsessing over something, getting messier and messier until the final screenshot shows his dark faith. After a quick Google search, we find that the events in these worlds line up with Notch's real-life childhood. His date of birth, his father moving out after a divorce, hell, even his sister experimenting with drugs. The only thing that doesn't line up is the presence of Herobrine and the release of Minecraft PSX. The release of PSX makes sense here. After all, that is our mystery here. And, as we've covered, commonly known Herobrine lore is that he's Notch's dead brother. These worlds seem to solidify this as fact, at least for MCSX lore. This also confirms who owns the memory card. Herobrine. His worlds are on it, after all. Or, what if there never was a memory card? Not physically in our possession, anyway. Think about it. How did we find the worlds? They were in the game files. What if the contents of MCard 2 weren't just in the actual game files, but on the disk for Minecraft PSX? Without knowing anything about how we obtained these worlds, or even this game, this is as best an explanation as I have. We are, however, left with a few questions. The big one I want to tackle is the following. What does the bug represent? In my world-by-world analysis, I theorized that the bug entered Notch's computer, a symbol that the anomalies in MCSX are caused by a bug in the code. I still think this is true, but I'm not so sure about what the bug actually caused. Was it the anomalies, or was it something else? Did someone else make the anomalies? Besides, we know what Herobrine was doing on his computer the whole time, while also going insane. He was developing Minecraft PSX with Notch. Further proof lies on the back of the case. We see a copyright notice that reads, Brian's Block Engine. Copyright 1997 Mojang Specifications, LLC. As a kid, I always pronounced Herobrine's name as Hero Brian. Thus, maybe Brian refers to Herobrine. In fact, I'm not the first to make this connection. And this also almost confirms that Notch and Herobrine worked together on the initial game. And just as an aside, Herobrine's name in general is a really odd one. I think there could be some etymology about his name. A combination, of hero and brine. Brine refers to salt water used for the preservation of food, or the act of preserving food as salt water. Hero is defined as a person who is admired or idealized. I think the keywords here are preserve and admired. Herobrine's name could mean that the entity is a preservation of someone who is admired, this person being Brian, the brother of Notch whose memories were turned into the entity Herobrine. All of that is highly speculative, and the name Herobrine wasn't even made for the MCSX modpack, but it's a fun little nugget to add, especially because it could relate regardless. The appearance of these worlds on the memory card, or in our files, as well as the Herobrine entity appearing in-game, leaves an implication that somehow Herobrine's memory or soul is trapped in the game. I don't yet know how the Herobrine entity acts in-game, but if it's faithful to the original mystery, all he should do is watch. Perhaps Herobrine lingers in the game to observe, to see what people think of his legacy, the last thing he did before dying. Perhaps this is what the bug did. Did the bug leave some sort of anomaly in the game that allowed Herobrine's memories to enter? Previously, I disregarded the time associated with the last opening of all the worlds, that 2:15 p.m. time. But what if it was there on purpose? If Herobrine's memories are in the game files, I think it's possible that the game somehow generated the worlds through his memories on the first playtest of Minecraft PSX. The screenshot, created a day later, might have been created on the day of Herobrine's actual death through the same method, generated because of his memories having been sucked into the game. It's a loose theory, but again, it's the best I have. I'm trying not to disregard any facts as mistakes in the ARG unless it's stated as a fact to have been a mistake. That was a confusing sentence, but I hope you get the point. This still leaves us with a few questions, though, all of which I'll write out right now. How did Herobrine enter the game? Was it truly the bug, or did Notch program it? What is the true cause of Herobrine's death? The anomalies. Did the bug do that, or did Herobrine code them? Herobrine is shown to be getting obsessed with the development. Maybe he went insane too and added the horrors intentionally. And the most important thing, what is the release date? Wait, what? That last question. The release date? Yeah. Everywhere you look for information about this mod pack, you'll see that people are saying that MCSX canonically released in 1998. Hell, I did it in the opening of this video. But only stuff that you find in the game is 100% official. The game does not say that. In fact, the game implies that the release date is 1999, with the worlds I just mentioned. The first instance of the game's existence we even see is the May 16, 1999 world, hooked up to the PS1 in the basement. The next day, Herobrine is dead. These dates line up with Minecraft's release in real life, too. According to the Minecraft wiki, private testing occurred on May 16, 2009, and the first public release was the next day, May 17, 2009. It feels significant for the final looks into the brothers' lives to be exactly 10 years before the real release of Minecraft. Also, 10 is a significant number of years compared to 11. And the game case is no help either. We see a copyright notice that says Minecraft trademarked and copyright 1998 Mojang Ltd. But we also see Minecraft PlayStation Edition interactive game copyright 1999 Danjak LLC and United Artists Corporation. Unfortunately, this last bit kind of discredits the legitimacy of the case as a source. The last copyright notice is copied directly from the case of 007 Tomorrow Never Dies for the PS1. Danjak, in fact, is a holding company for the James Bond license. So why would they also hold a license for Minecraft? In fact, it's arguable if this case is even canon. Only stuff you find in the game is 100% official. Ugh. In-game, we see the front of the case and the disc design for the NTSC version of the game, while the other game case says PAL. So it's possible that this game case is inaccurate and non-canon. If it is non-canon, my theory about Brian's block engine may have lost some significant proof, but due to all the other stuff I've seen in the worlds, I think it's safe to say the brothers were indeed working together. So, I don't know what to believe. I'm going to keep this as an unanswered question due to the conflicting results. I do know what I personally believe, however. And that's everything I have for this video. So far, we've still got a few questions to answer, and I don't know if we'll ever really know some of them. But for now, this is where the video ends. There's a lot more to analyze, and a lot more of lore to find. In fact, I haven't even touched the anomalies themselves yet. Furthermore, there's another world that comes preloaded in the game. The tutorial world. I'm going to explore this world in the next video. But for now, I've noticed there's not a great source of information on this lore. So, I'm going to start one. In the description, I'll link a Google Drive folder that has some files, and we'll fill them with lore. The script to this video will be there, as well as a Google Slides inspired by Retro Gaming Now. for those who haven't seen his videos on Minecraft ARGs, he sometimes creates Google Slides that has information about all the videos he's covering, or just all the characters, details, pretty much everything. And that's the same thing I'm going to be doing. In that Google Slides, I'm going to turn comments on so people can add their ideas and suggestions, kind of building on what I've already written. And there'll also be a blank document that will also have comments and suggestions enabled, so anybody can add random lore details and stuff I haven't gotten to yet. And with that, I'm done here for tonight. Keep an eye out for part 2, coming soon. I hope. And who knows, maybe I'll see you on the PlayStation 1. Good night, everybody.